Yo, what's up? What's up? It's the Hungry Millennial back again with yet another Proactive Pragmatism. On today's Proactive Pragmatism, I'd like to reference a acronym that we use in the military. It's called PMCS, which stands for Preventative Maintenance Checks and Services. And so this ties into mental health and personal growth. When we talk about preventative maintenance in the military, it's so that we can get the length out of our equipment, out of our sensitive items, and also the resilience out of our soldiers to ensure that they have what they need to fight and succeed on the battlefield. It's important to implement PMCS in our own lives because what'll happen is we put a lot on our plates, and what we put on our plates can get very overwhelming at times. So overwhelming, in fact, that it forces us into many mental breakdowns, right? I mean, not enough to get us put in the psych ward, but oftentimes enough to where we're down for the count for too long, and then we spend a lot of time trying to revamp, trying to get our energy back, and trying to recalculate and reassess what our goals are, even though we're so close to crushing our goals that we don't realize on the other side of the wall is our goals, is everything that we wanted, but we often overload our plate. I have been guilty of this multiple times. I remember in college, I was taking 20 credit hours per semester, 9 over the summer, and I had promised ROTC that I would graduate in 3.5 years. And while I did enjoy the journey and I had a lot of fun along the way, I learned from a lot of really great professors and communication people, and I learned a lot about graphic design. I had some good times in college. I met a lot of good people, even to this day, that I still connect out with and enjoy watching them succeed. However, there was the year that I was supposed to assess to see if I would be able to make it onto active duty, because you in the Army, in ROTC, you compete for slots on active duty, right? When we assessed things, we thought it was originally a nail in the coffin because, usually people the year before and the year after, when they made active duty, they got what they wanted. However, it was one of those things where the government had shut down, so there was a variable there. The plan was there's a camp where they assess you and how you perform. I went to that camp and I succeeded at all levels. I actually at a high level. I left the camp with, it's called a Recondo Award. It's given to the cadets that they don't fail any obstacle course, they don't fall off of anything, they get decent grades on all of their evals. They crushed the land navigation course. They crushed the swim course, which was super trying to me because I'm not a swimmer. But I did take some swimming lessons. Shout out to my swimming teacher, who is from Charleston, Illinois. She did so much for me. Christina, thank you for helping me out. There's a shameless plug there. But I went there, even crushed the swimming session, part of it. And I got back and I was told that I'd be placed in the National Guard. First I was pissed. I just, because you're being told, I accrued some college debt, not anything too crazy, but I mean, 40 grand is a lot for somebody who doesn't have a job, right? And I didn't have enough ROTC scholarships and tuition to cover the cost of living in college. So that was something that I have to bear, and I'm still bearing to this day. But I think it's a blessing. But if I did, at that time, if I had done more of a PMCS for myself and on my life and on my journey, I would have maybe taken the 4.5 year route, because everybody typically that at the year after who assessed, obviously they didn't have the variable of the government shutting down and there being less slots for active duty. They still got pretty much what they wanted because there was a furlough the year before. But at first I looked at this as it was bone crushing. It really was. But then I had to realize, years later, that if I had taken the time to slow down a little bit and make the connections that I needed to with the staff in ROTC, maybe I would have had a little bit more favor. And that's the part where, coming from an impoverished background, you think, yeah, I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna grind, I'm gonna do these things. And, even being a minority, sometimes it's tough because you're not sure what variables are at play. I've never been one to use the race card. However, you question some things that are said and how you're treated in certain circumstances because you are different. Nevertheless, I've always been the type to pull myself up by my bootstraps. But a part of that is conducting preventative maintenance on those bootstraps, making sure that you're not taking on too much as a person, making sure that you're maintaining your inner peace and not letting people get to you and get you down and get you overwhelmed, not taking on too many tasks. So many times in the military, I see somebody, they want to be a go-getter, so they're out there, making the connections. They're like, I got it. And then by the end of the stint of their service, they are completely burned out because they've added too much to their plate. That's not saying don't add experience to your plate, but that's also saying find balance. Try not to always be ripping and running. And, a big part of preventative maintenance checks and services is getting yourself serviced. For some people, it's retail therapy. For me, it's podcasting. For me, it's also, going for a run, getting a workout in, or switching up my workout routine to make sure that I stay on top of those things. To you, it may be having a healthy meal or spending time with family. Whatever your version of preventative maintenance checks and services are, you need to do that and assess what the long-term goals are and how they might affect you. Had I known, which nobody would have known, that the government was going to shut down at that time, except people who do like economics and things of that nature. But it's one of those things where I would assess like 3.5 years after coming back from boot camp, and then jumping right into the college experience in the spring might not have been the opportune thing to do. However, it was great. And I think it was a blessing because I saw a lot of people who did take that semester off the next semester coming out of basic training, and they never went back to college. So there's the catch-22. You don't know what the future may bring, but at the same time, you can do an assessment of what's going on. In the military, we talk about after-action reviews. So this is my after-action review of my career and that decision that I made to take the hard route, the tough route. It made me who I am, I can't lie. Now, a lot of things don't super faze me, and I'm learning and growing and how to deal with stress at extreme levels, and how to process and move through that stress. Like my last podcast was pain and gain. It was about pain and gains, and it definitely builds perspective. It teaches you how to learn, grow, and then see the pathway of the least traveled. And that also comes with learning and growing from the bad experiences and bad decisions you've made. So always conduct your preventative maintenance checks and services. In the military, we call those PMCs. Yo, this is the Hungry Millennial. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you checking out this proactive pragmatism. Thank you.